All right, number 2. Now it's slightly different. Now I switch. I have x to the 4 on the top, x to the 7 on the bottom. I do the same thing. I write out 4 times, write out 7 times, cancel. So I got 1 over x cubed now. 1 over x cubed now. If the larger exponent is in the denominator, are we left with the factor of x in the numerator or denominator? Yeah, denominator, right? So denominator. So what you did, what they did was they take 7 minus 4, but then because 7 is bigger than 4 and it stays in the bottom, they keep the x cubed in the bottom. So it looks like this. It looks like this is x to the 4 divided by x to the 7 equal 1 over x to the 7 minus 4. 1 over x cubed. And I'll explain to you why later. I'll explain to you why when you move the 4 down here, it turns negative, which is later. Maybe I'll highlight it in blue. So all right, this one in there you go. So 2 things you need to remember now. 2 more things. Let's try some problem. Let's use x to the 11 divided by x cubed. Apply the red one, right? The red rule. So that'll be x to the 11 minus 3. Oh, by the way, when you write things, make sure write it properly. See, I want you to write the 11 minus 3 on the top. Some people write like this. You don't write this down. This is the 2 different things, right? This is the whole function, subtract 3. This is just what function. So x to the 8. It's actually over 1, but we don't write that, right? Why don't you guys try all of them, or at least up to D? Up to D. Tell me what you got. B, what you got? Very good. Really like that, just for the sake of the note. C. Good. I'm not sure how big your calculator can take. I'll leave it like that, okay? It's not important. You can plug this in your calculator, right? You know how. But it's not important. It's important is you know the math. And then D. Yeah. Again, it's not important. The math is important. Now E and F is basically is pretty much the same, right? It just looks a little bit more fancier. That's all. Whatever the base, I call it blob. It's a smaller blob. You have a bigger blob. That's all right. So same thing. Same thing. You have the same base, top and bottom. What do? You take that blob, which is 15x minus y, and then the blob powers is what? 11 minus 1, right? Minus 1. So that 15x minus y parenthesis to the 10 power. Does that make sense? it's the same thing, right? It just, instead of smaller terms, the term is just bigger. You tell me F. Oh, let me show them. No, you try so I can. Today is 19. Oh, hang on. I need to fix my U try. But what is F? 1 over to the, yeah, thank you. Everybody got that? Yeah. All right, good. All right, you try 4A first. In the meantime, I'm gonna fix your U try. The time is wrong, that's all. All right, back to normal now. It's good. 4A. One term at a time, right? So you're gonna simplify the x first. I have x to the 4 at the top, x to the 6 at the bottom. So you actually be in the bottom, right? Because the 6 is bigger than the 4. So it'll be x what? Huh? Yeah, x squared. What about the y? Yeah, what should I put on top? 1. Hopefully nobody put 0, right? They're not gone. They just divide of x divided by x is 1. Okay. Should I write more or are you okay with this? You okay with it? Okay. I know you're okay now, but once you come back home, you look at it like, how did she come to that? B. Again, one thing at a time. On the exam, say somebody got 45 divided by 9 correct, but they got the rest wrong. I still give you a point. So partial credit is your friend. 45 divided by 9 is 5, right? X to the 15, x to the 20, x to the 5th in the bottom. And then I got y to the 1st, and then y to the 4th. So YQ in the bottom. And that's it. I'm done. Does anyone have a question up to this point? Please ask. Yes, yes. You subtract the exponent. When you divide, you subtract the exponent. For problem like C, if I was you, I like to do it like this. I put everything over 1. Just to distinguish what is the top, what is the bottom. All right, 9 and 45. Yeah, 5 on the denominator, right? So 5 down here, 1 on top. X to the 4 and x to the 9. On the denominator. X to the 4, y to the 14 and y 12. Y square on the top. For problem D, if I was me, I'll rewrite it like this. 36a to the 8, b to the 22nd, divide 4a to the 6, b to the 16, and c to the first. You simplify, you tell me what you got. Do you have anyone? Somebody you want to volunteer? Mm-hmm. Very good. Everybody got the same thing? Yeah. Okay, you try. 2 times x to the 15, y to the 4, divided by a x to the 9, y to the 6. X to the 9, that's x to the 4, that's number 9. You guys like the U try on Moodle better than Newton Alta? Yeah, my college did it on Newton Alta, and at the beginning of the semester, it's a mess. Yeah, because first of all, not everybody know how to access Newton Alta, and it's just weird. It's just weird. Everybody got Moodle when you register. Okay, all right, let's do this one. I'm gonna explain it to you why. I'm gonna explain it to you slightly abstractly why a to the 0 is 1. Like anything to the power of 0 is 1. But before that, let's do this example. I have 2 to the 4 divided by 2 to the 4. Common sense, what do you tell me? Equal. What's 2 to the 4 divided by 2 to the 4? What's 16 divided by 16? 1, right? 1. So they ask you a little question here, so just let's answer them. What is the exponent? We say 4. And then let's see. I'm gonna use the quotient rule. I'm gonna use this. What we just been doing, right? So this is same. It is the same thing as 2 to the 4 minus 4, correct? Which is 2 to 0. Which is, they say 1. And it has to be 1, right? Because we say 2 to the 4 divided by 2 to the 4 is 1. So 2 to 0 must be 1. Does that make sense? Yeah. So let me write out one more thing here. So I got 2 to the 4 divided by 2 to the 4. And we know this is equal 1. So 2 to 0 must be equal 1. What about 2x parentheses to the 0? 1, right? But let me write it out for you. Why is it 1? Because it's like this. You gotta remember the distributive rule. I'm gonna distribute the 0 into what? Each of these, each of those factors. So I have 2 to the 0 times x to the 0 and 1 times 1, which is 1. But on the exam, if you just say 1, I'm okay with it too. B. Oops, sorry. 2. Remember the parentheses, very important. On part A, parentheses means 0 is for both. Part B, I don't have parentheses, so the 0 is only for x. Right? So I have 2 times 1, which is 2. You know, why don't you try all of them? See what you get. Okay, try all of them. I'll walk around, see how you do. I want to see what happened. Any questions, please let me know. I want you to make mistake right now. Get on the system, so you don't do it on the exam. Okay? Don't be shy. You're supposed to make mistake now. You gotta mistake out of life here. I bet classes. When is the exam? I gotta take a look at the calendar. Was it 30th? We can check it out later when we have a little break. C. Everybody got C right though. C is, yeah, 3. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Now, let me talk about D. I see people do this. By the way, what's D equal to? What's D equal? D. I got D. What D equal? I got 0. Somebody say 0. Anyone else want to? AX? AX? Oh, 8X. And then what happens to 0 power? Okay, so let's do D. I see people do that. Don't write this down. And I'm glad you do it because I have a chance to explain. I see people do this. They distribute the 0 into each of these, and then they have 12x to the 0 minus 4x to 0. Is it right or wrong? Wrong. Because I've never taught you any rule that allow you to distribute the power if between two terms are minus or plus. Remember what I said about this. Remember what I said about this. No, you don't do that. The one that I wrote here is wrong. Do not write it down. I'm just explaining. You're not allowed to do this. You are not allowed to do this. It is not equal to a squared plus b squared. Remember? What do I have to do? You did it last time. Either you FOIL it, you write out twice, you FOIL it, or you use the binomial pattern, right? It's same thing with the minus. You're not allowed to do that. The only time you're allowed to distribute the power is when what? Is it multiply or divide? So this is wrong. You know what? I'm gonna keep it. The one in the bottom, the one black in the bottom. Now on the exam, if you see something like this and parentheses and outside 0, you can just tell me 1. You don't have to say anything else. But I'm gonna do one more step because they like term. 12x minus 4x is ax to the 0. And same thing with part A. What do I do? Now I can distribute the 0, right? Because multiplication. So a to the 0 times x to the 0, which is 1 times 1, which is 1. Or you can tell me 1 right away. So like Mimi, anything to the 0 is 1. I don't have to do this much. What about E? I got everybody got E right, I think. E is 1 minus 1, which is 0. Well, F, last one. Very good. It's 12 times 1 minus 4 times 1, which is 8. So as long as you know your rules, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Does anyone have a question? Please ask. This is time to ask. In the last 3 years, I've been teaching, or the last 3 semesters, I've been teaching this class. It seemed like every single time the people will give you this kind of problem on the exam. Like I think it was 2 points or something, and half of the class got it wrong. This is the easy point. Don't get it wrong. Next objective. All right. Before I go to objective 4, I want to come back to the one I recall in the beginning. Rule number 3, the very bottom one. If I have a to the m times b to the n and outside p, I can distribute the p to each of the powers of each factor, right? Same thing if I have, don't write this down, if I have division, I do the same thing. Right? I do the same thing. So that's what objective 4 is all about. Objective 4, if I have x divided by y to the 4 power, what I can do is I'm going to distribute the 4 to x and then the 4 to y, basically to everybody. Right? So I got x to the 4 divided by y to the 4. To y. Right? The reason being is this. Simple, same thing. If you doubt yourself, you write out how the way you understand it. X to the 4 is what? If I tell you x squared, what do? X times x, right? If x cubed is x times x times x. If I have x divided by y, parentheses, square to the 4 power, you write out 4 times. And then you use the product rule. So x to the first, x to the first, x to the first, x to the first, y to the first, y to the first, y to the first, y to the first. You add them all together. Hence, you got x to the 4 divided by y. But that's a long way. I don't want you to do that. The short way is you distribute the power. That's you need to know. That's you need to know. Okay. I'm going to distribute the square into each of these. So x squared over 5 squared and then y squared. What's 5 squared equal? Thank you. I want you to try B and D. I'll do C with you. Try B and D. It's 20. Everybody get the power. Right? No one left behind. So the 3 is supposed to go to everyone. So equal 2 cubed and then x cubed over 3 cubed and then y cubed. 2 cubed is 8. X cubed is x cubed. 3 cubed is 27. And then y cubed. D, again, you distribute that 2 into each of these. And then you multiply, you don't add. Okay, remember power rule? You only have one base. If you have multiple base, well, multiple same bases, you add, but you only have one base, you multiply. So x to the 10. Actually, I'll do it like this. I need one more step for you. X to the 5th square over y cubed square. And then x to the 10 over y to the 6. C. C. Yes. 27, 3 cubed is 27. That's okay. Any, you can ask anything. Again, I treat you as blank. We have, because it's your first class math at OU. All right, see, that negative there is to be understood as what? Understood at, if I don't write anything, it's be understood at. You should know me by now, will be understood at -1, right? So this is equal to -1, and I'm just rewriting everything here. 2x over 3y to the 4. -1 times, by the way. All right, again, you distribute the 4 to everyone, to -1, to 2, to x, to 3, to y. What I'm asking you, when you distribute the 4 to -1, make sure you put parentheses around -1. Because if you don't, it's different. The answer should be different. What's -1 to the 4 power? Very good, thank you. 2 to the 4 is 16. Thank you. Next to the 4. 3 to the 4. Yeah, 9 times 9 is 81. Y to the 4. You can leave the 1 there, or you don't want to, you can erase it. I'll leave it there, it's fine. Does anyone have a question? Please ask. Yes. Yeah, you can erase the 1. Yeah, yeah. Maybe I'll erase it. Confuse you. I'll erase it. And I'll do like this. I'll do maybe like that. All right, E. Oh, you guys should be able to do this by now. E. Distribute the square to everyone. 5 square, x to the cube square, and then 7 square, y to the 5th square. 5 square is 25. X cubed square is 6, thank you. 7 square is, thank you. And then y to the 5th square, thank you. For F, if I was you, or maybe it's fine. Usually my habit is I put over 1. You don't have to, maybe you don't have to, it's fine. Right, you gotta do F, you tell me what you got. Anyone have an answer? So basically it's 4 cubed, right? X to the 4 cube over y to the 5th cube, z cube. And then you simplify. What 4 cube equal? 64. X to the, well, over to the 15. Now, z to the 3rd, thank you. Let's, you try. Negative 4 x to the 4 over y to the 8, all of that cube. It's kind of similar to D. Okay, okay, good. All right, let me go to the Moodle page. I don't see when we have exam. Yeah. 28. Calendar 28 September, Wednesday. It's from class 1 to class 9. So class 10, the Monday before, it won't be on the exam. I hate when they do this. Why don't we just give you an exam on Monday so you have a whole weekend to study and not worry about this thing? I don't make these. Okay, send them on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. And the material from class 1. Well, the class 1 is prerequisites, but you still have to know, right? Class 1 to class 9. So the first 3 weeks, basically. Again, if you have something in conflict, tell me beforehand. Okay. Don't tell me after the exam. Like Mimi, because I was on vacation, I can't take exam 1. That's not a very good reason. Reach out to me as early as you can. Usually 12 maximum. Yeah, so not bad. It's short. Yeah, it's not hard. The hard part is that because right now you do section by section, so when I ask you a question, you know right away because you know what's going on. But on the exam, everything together, so it might be confusing. Okay, I think that's the like number one reason why people fail math class. Like Mimi, I know my homework is 100%. I know what to do in my homework. It's easy because it's section, right? You know what section you're doing, you know how to do it. But on the exam, everything together, and they look similar. Like what you do, so mostly that's happened to like freshmen or the beginning of class students. You not get used to a lot of information all at once, but you get better. You get better. All right, continue. Objective 5, last one. Yay. It's basically it's the review of what we did. So let's do this. You do AB. You guys do AB and then we'll do the rest together. Let's try AB on your own first. Make it like this so you can see. I'm gonna show you two ways of doing this. I'll show you. Tell me what you got first. Yes. Yeah, sure. You have a result? Okay. You can simplify more. So they both X. But yeah. Yeah. You got it right up to that point. Yes. Yeah. Thank you both. I see the 8. Does anyone have that one? Okay, so what I do for me, my favorite method is this. I like to simplify what inside the parentheses first. So I'm gonna rewrite the square outside so I don't forget. X squared and x to the 8, how do I combine them? Yeah, so x to the 10. And then in the denominator is x cubed. What else I can do? X to the 10 divided by x cubed is quotient rule. X to the 7, and then square outside. Don't forget the square. 7 squared is 7 times 2 is 14. 14. So that's my method. How I do it. I clean up inside the parenthesis first, and then I square it last, or Q, whatever, just throw at me. Right now, student, do this. What's your name? What's your name? Kamari. Okay, Kamari. I think Kamari do this. She distribute the square into each of these first. So she did this. So Kamara, we would x to the 4, right? Times x to the 16 divided by x to the 6, and no longer square, right? You already done the square. And then she did is she add the top. So x to the 20 divided by x to the 6. 20 minus 6 is same thing. You derive, eventually you get the same answer. Just different way of doing it. For me, I like to clean up first and then I square later. Right? And I'm going to do the same for the rest. Okay, but whatever you want to do, as long as it's correct, it's fine. Now for B, do not simplify x cubed and x squared. You have to take care of the 5 and the 4 outside first. Okay? So bx to the what? 15 times x to the 8. Excuse me, it's really annoying. Will you please stop talking? Thank you. I'm gonna simplify the top first, okay? X to the 5th times x to the 8 is, you add, right? Yeah, so the x to the 23rd, right? Now I'm going to take care of the bottom, x12 and x14, so that'll be x to the 26 over x to the 26. Someone tell me the last answer. 23rd, 26th. Very good. 1 over Q. Right. Thank you. Six minus 26 minus 23 is 3. Right. And then 26 is bigger than 23, so you want to put the x cubed in the bottom. Okay. Yeah. C. Oh, and any question for A and B, please ask. All right. All right, I'm gonna simplify inside the parenthesis first. So Q outside, so I don't forget. Can I do anything about 2 to the 5th and 2 to the 6th? You know what? The negative is this one right here. Let me highlight this one in blue. Is the negative 1 times 2 to the 6th. So negative 1 is, I'm gonna just leave it there, okay? All I care about, how do I simplify? How do I simplify 2 to the 5th and 2 to the 6th? Can someone tell me? 2 to the 5th, 2 to the 6th. Yeah, the 2, top or bottom? Bottom, right, bottom. 6 minus 5 is 1, so 2 to the 1st, which is 2. What about y to the 11? And y to the 7? Y to the 4 up here. Oops, keep it in red. Y to the 4. And then, you know, let's talk about, x. What about x? Let's do it in x, y, z in the alphabetical order. X to the 7, thank you. And then z, thank you. Ooh, yes. What was it?
Minus 11 from 7 is 4, but then plus x2.
Oh, I'm done with y.
Right, minus that and then
Plus x. I don't plus x. Oh, because x they together. Because x cubed times x to the 4. So you add the exponent. But for the y, you have 1 on top, 1 on the bottom. You subtract. Run out of color to highlight. No. Right. No. Oh, good enough. Okay. Z. Z. Yeah, thank you. Z to the 9. I do that so when you're home, you look at my note. And now you distribute the 3. And now you just distribute the 3. Distribute the 3. Y to the 4. I'll do slowly. Y to the 4 cube over negative 1 cube, 2 cube, x to the 7 cube, z to the 9 cube. Final answer. Thank you. What's negative 1 cube equal? Negative 1. Negative 1 times 2 cube is 8. So x to the 21 and then z to the 27. If you want, you can do it like this. Y to the 12, negative 8, x to the 21, y to the 20, I'm sorry, z to 27. I just write a lot of stuff. You don't have to. Can you do D? Let me make a remark about D. I see people do this. They take the negative 10 and then they times the 2. Don't do that. Why? Because the negative 10 being what? Oh, sorry. It's being square. So you're gonna square it first, right? And then the 2 have to be cubed first in order to multiply them together because they carry different power. So again, distribute the power. Distribute the power. So negative 10 squared is, I'm gonna do short, I don't wanna do it again. 100, x squared is x to the 4, 2 cubes is 8, x to the 5th cube is 15, over 4 squared is 16, x to the 8th squared is x to the 16. Now you simplify. 8 and then 16, there's 2 at the bottom, 100 divided by 2 is 50. Or use your calculator. What about x? I got x to the 19 on the top, right? And then x to the 16 on the bottom. So 50 x to the 3rd. If I make mistakes, please let me know. Okay. Sometimes I multiply things incorrectly. Almost there. Oh, D. My screen is froze. Oh, there you go. Okay, let me ask you a question. What should I do with E first? What should I do with E first? What should I do with E first? Yes, yes, right. You distribute the 3 first, right? Or you can square the 2 first and then you distribute the 3. But let's do that. So I have 2 square and then cube, x square and then cube, y to the 5th cube, 2 times 2 to the 4, and then x to the what? X to the square, x to the 4, y to the 5th to the 4. I know it's tempted, but please don't simplify this and this at the beginning. I know it's tempted because they carry different power outside. You gotta take care of the power first, right? Hmm.
So you don't put the exponent on the two that's outside of the.
No, because it's 2 times the whole thing to the 4 power. So the 4 does not belong to the 2. But thank you, yeah. Just thank you for asking. So the top I have 2 to the 6, x to the 6, y to the 15. I don't know why I write the 6 so big. The bottom I got what? Y to the 2 to the first times 2 to the 4, which is 2 to the 5th, right? And then x to the 8, and then y to the 20. Simplify. X 2 to the 6 and 2 to the 5th is 2, right? X to the 6 in the top, x to the 8 in the bottom. So I have x squared in the denominator, and then y to the 5th. Can you get your fish fry? X cubed times x squared divided by quantity of x to the 4 times y to the 5th squared. When you're done, you can leave. Okay. All right, have a good one, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Some of you, I'll see you later in the bookshop. Oh, by the way, I don't have office hour today because I'm helping a colleague covering her class. Okay. Yeah, send out announcement. Yes. So same thing, drill, worksheet, and then group assignments. Is that what you're asking?
No, for the exam.
Oh, yeah. The workshop before there will be a review workshop. You too. Thank you.
I just wanted to apologize that I wasn't here the whole week last week.
Oh yeah, what happened? You okay?
I had to go on Monday when I had to go to the hospital, and then they said that it was like I had an abscess, and since it was constantly draining, I wasn't allowed to be in school.
Oh, okay. So what now? What they want now?
Now I'm just on a ton of antibiotics, and it's healing now, but hated not being here for a whole week.
Will you be able to be in the workshop or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, you too.
did you say about class? Is there one day that's like earlier? I couldn't hear you. What did you say when you're talking about like class? Was there a day that's earlier? I think I.
Was it exam day?
Yeah. What'd you say?
Oh no, I have no office hours today
Oh,
because I'm helping somebody cover her class. Yeah. Sorry.
I was asking one of the girls over there. I wasn't here when we like first started the class, and there's like a workshop we're supposed to be doing, or like there's like Alta, and then the U try. Like I've been doing the U try, but not the Alta.
Oh, okay. So you should be doing all time now. You can
Okay.
extend.
So
You are
it's
allowed
like
to
a,
submit late.
is it like a website?
Yes.
And
So
then,
let me go to. Go back. So here you see the NER link. If you go to the Moodle, click here for NER link. You click here, and you click here. Make sure don't sign in. You should say sign in for Google.
okay.
And then it'll ask you. Well, of course, ask you what.
Yeah.
Because we had to be Oakland University.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can have a grace period for 14 days.
And then it's like we do one each class period. There's like a new one assigned.
Yeah, they'll date here.
Okay.
You'll be able to submit late though.
Oh.
I'll take it late, just a little penalty.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ashley, you still have problem with the website?
Yeah, I'm gonna go there today.
Okay.
I'm gonna just go there today.
Okay. This is-
Signage said what they sent me isn't at all, so they said it won't work.
Oh. Okay, so they give you the bad one then.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just go there to the bookstore after this today.
Okay, good luck.
Okay.